Hello, good day to you all. Welcome back to One Shot, the show where we have one camera, one laptop, two microphones, but 100% Gert Hemming and Sean David. How are you doing, Gert?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, today's topic is going to be a pretty interesting one. We wanted to talk about when do we feel should LeBron James retire? And that's actually a pretty interesting topic since you can see it from so many different angles. And I got to be honest, I don't know how I feel about that. What about you?
Well, I mean, you mentioned different angles. Let's first knock off the table the most important angle. That's his own decision.
Yes.
Let's start. We can talk about this for a half an hour, 10 minutes, 2 hours. It doesn't matter. The most important angle is that it's his decision. Yeah, that's the best decision, obviously. Now, what you're referring to is that some players have played a little bit too long, maybe tarnish their legacy.
Yes.
Maybe also switch teams. And then you have those guys that stopped or retired when they were on the top of the mountain. Those are kind of the things that we're discussing regarding LeBron James. Now, let's first discuss if he's at the top of the mountain or if he's on the other side. Is he sliding down?
Yes, but only a little.
In what aspect is he sliding down? Athletically? No.
Of course.
Yeah, well...
He can't. He's not jumping out of the building anymore. But because he was so super gifted, he's still better than 99% of the NBA. But if we would compare it to the LeBron James from 10 years ago, you could see that he's slowing down.
Slowing? I don't know, man. I mean, percentually, yes, maybe. But I think it's so minuscule that it's
yes, it's a little,
yeah,
a little.
Hey.
But he has because of his great basketball IQ, he's still super efficient.
Well, let's talk about the IQ. In a minute. First, athletically, he's in the finals now. Against the Nuggets, he had a couple alley-oop plays where he was as high with his head at the rim as when he was in his 20s. Vertically, he's similar, I think. If he sets his mind to it, offensively running the lane, he is close to being as fast as his fastest. When he was in his 20s, it's maybe a little bit of a drop off, but not much.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, so athletically, he's great. The first year with meaning last year with the Lakers, he had his first injury. This year, he will get through, knock on wood, with the remaining time to go through an entire season healthily again. The guy's just a freak in nature, yeah? Meaning in a positive manner. So physically at 35, he's amazing. As a matter of fact, I cannot name another player, first in general, that at 35 is this close to his peak as LeBron is to his peak.
Jordan, hello?
At 35?
Yes. He was still winning championships, and
he was shifting more from the athletic part in his 20s to becoming also adding, because he wanted to win championship, to mid-range jumpers and that sort of thing, which is physically. But okay, while I'm talking, I'm thinking of other things. He was also in a different era where it took more toll on his body. Yeah? But that was my first statement was going to be as such. But the second was, I do not know anybody at that size, being whatever he is, 280, 6'9", at 35 still that athletic. Never. It's never happened. So you expect a drop-off in the next couple of years. But if you and I, when we've talked about it a couple of years ago, if you read the sports sites about that, everybody expected that drop-off 2 years already.
Yes,
2 years
true,
ago already.
True,
so
very true.
It hasn't happened. So then you mentioned basketball IQ. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that to me, I mean, the question of our episode is when should he retire? And me personally, I love it if superstars play even until they're 40. You know why? Because then you can see how good a player really is. If your fundamentals are great and your basketball IQ is great, then you will find a way how you can still be productive even when you're 37, 38, 39. That happened with Michael Jordan. It happened with John Stockton, Karl Malone. And that's exactly what I love to see. With those super athletic guys that rely their entire career just on the athletic ability, you can see once that leaves them, suddenly they don't average 25, they average like 10, 8. So I would love to see LeBron James play a little bit longer, because I think with his basketball IQ, he should still be productive for a couple of more years.
Okay, I'm winded sometimes. I talk a long time. You said a few things right there, but it wasn't clear if you meant to say that LeBron James, if you thought that LeBron James had a high basketball
Of
IQ.
course.
Okay.
Of
but
course.
At the end, you revealed that. So, yeah, I agree. First of all, we started by saying that he's the only one that should decide, but we would all love to see him a few more years in the NBA, correct?
Yeah, plus he's the only guy who could beat Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record. He's the only one who can do it.
Yeah. But when, though, realistically, aside from LeBron James, should somebody retire? That decision is most of the times is made not by the player himself, but by management or, the teams in the NBA. And that is when you're not productive for the team anymore. Or the team can find somebody that's more productive than the guy sliding down because of age. Yeah?
I mean, at the end, it's always the team's decision if they're going to re-sign you or not. So if they see something in you that you can put on the table for the team, they can say. There are guys who, especially nowadays, NBA, who can only shoot. And okay, you're 37, but you can stand in the corner, catch the ball, and shoot. Okay, we re-sign you. To me, I love when players play longer, even when they're 40. So that's my...
Well, two things then. I mean, LeBron James, I see little to no decline at all, really, in his game so far. IQ doesn't really decline. That happens more at our age, intellectually. I think the question, when should he retire, is when he's not really productive anymore. And then there's a legacy to protect, maybe. The other question is, when do you think he's going to retire? And I don't think he's going to retire until he's 40.
You think so? Wow, okay.
I think he'll be around for another 5 years. You?
I think he will go for whether 2 more years or until he surpassed Kareem.
Yeah, but I think he would need that clip when he scores 25 points per game. That's not going to happen 4 years straight.
No.
So, 25, then 22, then 18, another 18, then he would need another 4 years. Mathematically.
That would be crazy. If he really plays until he's 40, well, then he will be the all-time leader in points. Probably the all-time leader in made field goals, field goal attempts. Steals could be something that he would be pretty high. Assists, he's not going to surpass John Stockton, but he's going to be up there.
Maybe finals appearances.
That goes without saying.
But I'd love to see it. And maybe the most important thing, if I see him play, I think he enjoys the game still fully, 100%. He doesn't seem tired of the game, and he seems to enjoy it, being around the guys, that sort of thing. If you are athletically able to do it, and you have the basketball IQ, but you're tired of the daily grind in the NBA, I don't notice any of that.
No, not yet.
So I think he will be around for another 4 or 5 years.